Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, we're going to take a look at a DIY plunge pool. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so this video is going to centre around Steph and Nathan's DIY plunge pool. So Steph and Nathan actually got in touch with me a couple of months back because they wanted to build a DIY plunge pool. Now, they already had the concrete structure in the backyard. So Steph's husband, Nathan, had gone ahead and he'd already built this, and the project kind of stalled, and it stalled for a few months. Steph got fed up of staring at a concrete hole and actually wanted to finish the project. Started Googling online, found my website, found me, got in touch, and we started talking. So I didn't quite know initially what I was taking on. So Steph actually sent me some pictures, kind of got my head around things. So basically, Nathan had gone ahead and he'd built the structure, and he's a very talented chap. You can see on some of the images behind me, the concrete work, the structure is really, really well done. So when Nathan first called me, my first question, pretty obvious one, was, hey, Nathan, great work, but so why is there no plumbing for your plunge pool in the concrete structure that you've made? And Nathan's response was brilliant. It was, Andy, I wish I'd found your website 18 months earlier. I didn't know what I was doing with the plumbing, so I just cracked on with the concrete structure and thought I'd worry about that later. So it's a bit of a challenge to kind of retrofit plumbing into an existing concrete structure, and obviously Nathan knows that now, but of course it's totally possible. So the first thing that we had to do was come up with a plan and work out firstly how they wanted to heat it, and Nathan had done some research. He actually wanted to incorporate an air source heat pump, which is a great way of heating things. And he didn't want any jets for like a hot tub, so he really wanted it as a plunge pool, so a heated plunge pool. So the plumbing for this is pretty straightforward. So what we did, we put together a plan. I designed up the plumbing, I CAD'd up the concrete structure that he already had. So he had, we'll call them Lego-like plans, the designs, the styles that I'm sure you've seen on my website. If you haven't, check it out, builderhottub.com. And now's probably a good time as well to say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're liking what you're seeing, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, any questions, hit me up in the comments. Always happy to help. So with the design in place, next thing Nathan needed was all the parts. So happily supplied him with all the parts, and he began to crack on. Everything was going smoothly. And again, you can see some of the pictures behind me here. Quality of the build is absolutely outstanding. Really, really talented chap is Nathan. So Nathan had a goal of actually finishing the tub for one of his son's birthdays. He'd promised his son a pool party for his birthday, so there was somewhat of a deadline. And this is kind of where we have run into a bit of a problem. So why don't I pass over to myself and explain what the problem actually is. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm now filming from my car. Well, I actually got a call from Nathan late last night, about 9 o'clock or so. He'd filled his pool, he was ready to go, and he's got quite a large leak. And it wasn't something that he can plug. Given that he's got the deadline, given that he's got the pending birthday party for one of his kids, I couldn't possibly let him down or let him let his kids down. So the only option, I couldn't ship them in there in time, so I'm actually going to drive the parts over and I'm going to fit them for him. So I'll update you in a couple of hours when I get there. Okay, so I've just arrived on site, and as you can see from the video here, there is a huge amount of water that's coming out of the filter. Now, this isn't something that you're going to be able to plug, unfortunately, with epoxy or any kind of a sealant. There's a little bit too much pressure and it's kind of flowing out a bit like a waterfall. So there's way too much water coming from the filter. You're just not going to be able to plug it. So the only option when you have a leak like this is to actually cut it out and start again. Unfortunately, upon inspection, I also found that there was quite a few leaks on the joints on the ball valves as well. And my bad, I didn't take any spares. So what I did was actually reconfigured the plumbing so it didn't use quite as many ball valves, and it was totally fine. The pressure was all good anyway, so we didn't need all of the bypasses and those kind of things. Now, I would always recommend that they are in, but we're at somewhat of a time crunch on this particular project, as we didn't want the party to be cancelled, but so we've kind of bent the rules, if you like, to make it work. But as I said, it's totally fine. The pressures were all good, and the way that Nathan and Steph planned to actually run the plunge pool kind of fitted in with the plumbing layout that we ended up with. So once I swapped the parts, everything was fine. Leaks had stopped, and as you can see behind me, it's an absolutely beautiful build. So there we have it, Steph and Nathan's plunge pool all finished. Fantastic job, Nathan, really good quality. A few little glitches on the plumbing that I'm glad I could assist with, but you're all sorted now, and of course the party can now go ahead as planned. So, hope you found this video useful. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.